What's up, GameLeap? The Jizz is back, and in today's video, we're going to reveal the 10 best builds carving up play in 11.4 and the champions you can abuse these on. Now, as we all know, Season 11 is literally League of Items. If your champion doesn't synergize well with the new mythics, the new and updated legendaries, and the rest of the shop, chances are you're going to be as useful as a Pro Guides video. Now, do you guys know what is useful? Well, I'll tell you, the GameLeap website. So for exclusive access to our fresh daily content that is original, it's fire, it's informative, and most importantly, the courses, guides, and videos are guaranteed to help you improve, just like thousands of your fellow summoners, so get clicking. Links as always in the description and comment section. Alright, let's get into it. And the first build we have to talk about that's going to improve your win rate is one I mentioned in last patch's episode, and it's continuing to make a lot of noise this patch. So this particular item combination, guys, is one of the highest win rates on the Rift. Now you want to rush an Essence Reaver, and then you want to build Dustblade or Draktar. Get some Lucidity boots in there as well, and you have one heck of a combo. Now you might be wondering who on earth would build something like this. I'll tell you who. Ezreal, and if you really wanted to have some fun, Sivir as well. And I bet you weren't expecting that. Here's the thing, guys. This build gives you everything you want on both champions at the moment. Ability haze, mana, and damage. And keep in mind that for both Ezreal and Sivir, your abilities are big parts of your kit. You know, you're not a Vayne who's just practically auto-attack based. Now the change to Essence Reaver's passive so that it restores mana based on damage dealt rather than a percentage of your mana is great, especially later in a game. Dustblade's 5% extra AD buff from a level 1 and its passive damage gives your Mystic Shots and Boomerang Blades way more of a punch, and the invisibility comes in super clutch in teamfights, believe it or not. And another good thing, guys, is that by rushing Essence Reaver, you don't have to build a tier and mana Mune because you have all the mana you need from ER. Meaning you're way less reliant on scaling and have a better chance of winning those unwinnable games when your team is feeding. So try this out on either champion, guys. It's actually really annoying to play against, and I guarantee you will win more. Now this next build, ahead of the Essence Reaver Dustblade combo, is an AD Assassin build that may not be that popular, but its high as win rate suggests it should be. So coming in at number 9, guys, your 3 core items are Prowler's Claw, and then Youmuu's Ghostblade, and then Serilda's Grudge. Now the power in this build comes from the lethality in your Prowler's Claw and Ghostblade, and also Prowler's active. The fact you get a free dash, which increases your follow-up damage to that target, is nutty, and the 11-1 change helps heaps too. You get 10 more ability haste now, which is a key stat on these assassins. So if you're playing Zed, Kiana, Talon, you are going to have a field day. Now in this meta, armor doesn't exist in massive amounts, but it does exist. For example, you have mid laners building Seeker's Arm Guard and Zhonya's, you have top laners building Death's Dance, Frozen Heart, and Steel Caps, and you have supports with Locket of the Iron Solari, so it is out there. And this is where Serilda's Grudge comes in as your 3rd item. At this stage in the game as well, most champions will have some sort of resistance in their kit, so the armor pen helps you shred their defense. Not to mention the super useful 20 ability haste and the slow that procs on your damaging abilities, so no one is escaping. So if you love AD assassins, then you're also going to love winning with these 3 items. Now this next build is one that has transformed one champion in particular from being kind of trash to kind of OP, especially in higher levels of play. So 2 mage items got buffed this patch, guys. Everfrost and Cosmic Drive, that's right. So you get more damage in Everfrost active now, and its cast time is quicker, so against assassins and bruisers this is ideal. It's a lot easier to pill them, and the build path is so much better as well. Instead of building out of Lost Chapter and Blasting Wand, it also builds out a Kindle Gem, meaning you don't need 1250 gold to acquire the full item, only 450. This is so much more satisfying, and the extra health you're getting too means you're going to die a little less. On top of that, Cosmic Drive giving you 40 ability haste after your mythic, and the drive is huge, and the permanent movement speed you get is unreal. So think of Ryze and think of Sylas with these bad boys in their inventory. As close-ranged AP fighters, everything Everfrost and Cosmic Drive gives you makes you so much better. I'm calling it now, Ryze will be a priority pick in pro play, so Riot will pull out the nurse again, he's that good with this item combo. Alright, this next build is a little unorthodox. It's not necessarily a build, it's more of an item rush, and for 2 champions who build it right off the bat, their win rate is right up there with the best of them. So it's quite simple, guys. Rush a Nash's Tooth, and who do you do this on? Katarina is one champion, and Twitch is the other. Now in the 11.4 changes, Riot increased Katarina's on-hit damage in her ultimate, and you might think this is great for the Kraken Slayer Bork Katarina, and it is, but it's actually better for Nash's Cat too because of the on-hit in Nash's, thus making it even more broken. In fact, try this out, guys. After you get a Nash's on Cat, get a Bork. No troll, this is very pog, you've just got to trust the Jizz. Now for Rat IRL, the same thing. Nash's Tooth, but follow this up with a Rabadon's Death Cap, so you actually store your mythic here. The damage you do with the on-hit in your Contaminate is crazy. Just remember that your early game is still weak, so wait until you get the tooth and fire away. Now just ahead of the Nash's tooth builds, we have a build that only one champion can viably use, and it's actually busted as. Let me put it this way guys, when a champion has close to a 60% win rate in Master and above, you know there's a busted item combo behind it, and it is this, Hextech Rocket Belt into Horizon Focus. Now stop scratching your head and listen up. Rocket Belt, as we all know, gives you a gap closer and engage and disengage, but what's most important is the magic penetration you get from the mythic passive. So when you get Horizon Focus, yes you only get 5 of it, but the reason it's so good is because with Horizon Focus's passive, your burst is off chops. Now if you play Nico, you can trigger this extra damage with both your Q and E, and more importantly with your ultimate. So if you Rocket Belt into a fight and land your Pop Blossom, your subsequent damage is enough to one-shot anyone. Now if you have already tried out this build guys, or any of the builds in this countdown, let everyone know in the comments how good they are. Now we're into the top 5 builds of the current meta guys, and if you're enjoying this content, make sure you smash the like button, and coming in at number 5 is one of the best builds in the game at the moment, and is one for you tank fans. So the 2 core items include Turbo Chem Tank, your mythic, and Dead Man's Plate. This build right here is why Skarner and Udyr have 2 of the top 3 highest win rates in the whole game, so how can this combo not be on this list? Now ever since the Chem Tank got changed in 11.2, champions who can get value out of it have been destroying everyone on the Rift, just like Batsoup destroyed 2020. The fact it now costs only 2800 gold means you hit this power spike real quick, and the change to its mythic passive has helped too. So it now grants 5 ability haste for each legendary item, and haste is an important stat on these 2 speedy tanks. Deadman's is obviously useful for its movement speed and slow, so not only can you not be touched, your opponents cannot escape. This build with Udyr and Skarner guys, this patch, hard to beat. Now the next item build you have to try out coming in at number 4 is another mage combination that is deadly on AP assassins. So your first item, you want Night Harvester, followed by Lichbane, followed by Zhonya's Hourglass. Now this 3 item setup has been out since the new mythic items were released, right? Back in pre-season. But this is the source of Diana's power and Elise's power, and these 2 champions still have some of the highest win rates in the game and are amazing solo queue champions. You see this damage guys, this build, it screams burst, and for champions like Diana and Elise who can apply Lichbane's on hit easily, this is fire. So give this a try in your games, you have a ridiculous amount of 1v9 potential. Alright, we're into the top 3 builds for the current meta, and before we send it, one last friendly reminder to check out the GameLeap website if you want to get to Challenger. If you want to keep toiling away, winning and losing, then no worries. But if you want to buck that trend and start seeing victory on the reg, do yourself a favor guys and get signed up, links down below. Okay, starting off the top 3, we have a build that is partly behind the rise in win rate of one bruiser that is one of the best solo carry champions in the game right now. Now Fiora in 11.4 guys got buffed, as you will know if you're staying up to date with our videos. More damage in your vitals is huge, and to cap it off you need to be building items that are going to help you play around this buff. So your mythic is not Gore Drinker, it's not Trinity Force, it is Stride Breaker, and on Fiora this is busted. The stats are obviously ideal, so you have AD, you have ability haste, you have attack speed, even the health is useful, but the active is the real selling point. You see with Stride Breaker guys, you can use its active to proc vitals. So when you use your ultimate on an enemy champion, those 4 vitals that pop up, you can proc all 4 in the space of a second with an auto attack, a Q, Stride Breaker's active, and then another auto attack. The movement speed you get and the slow makes this even easier. After the break, you get a Ravenous Hydra and then a Hysterics Gauge, and you are unbeatable. Now there is another build guys, and this is a runner-up to the best build of 11.4 that makes 2 champions in particular unbeatable as well. To the point where even if you are 0-10, you can still 1v1 anyone in hard carry. So you might already know what it is just off that. So the build is Immortal Shield Bow first, then Infinity Edge, then Bloodthirster. And you might also know which 2 champions on the Rift can pop off with these 3 items. They are Yasuo and Yone, of course. You see, when Riot buffed these half-brothers in 10.25 and 11.1, one buff especially made them beyond broken, because at just 2 critical strike items, your passive turns that 40% crit into 100% crit. Meaning that with just a shield bow and Infinity Edge, you have 100% crit. And because of Infinity Edge's passive, every crit you throw out, which is all the time with your auto attacks and Qs, these crits deal more damage. This is bonkers, and I'm sure you've all seen this in action at some point, and Bloodthirster as a 3rd item gives you even more sustain and damage. If they're not banned and you lock in Yasuo or Yone, guys, this is the build you must go. So which build is number 1? Which item combo is better than all of these? Well, we're about to find out, guys. Now I'm going to say the champion that has popularized this build, and I want to know if you can guess the actual build itself from just this, so let me know in the comments if you do. So when I say Senna, what build am I talking about? What 3 items does Senna build that is so OP it has to be number 1 on this countdown? Well, the on-hit build for center, guys, is the nuts. First, you want to buy a Kraken Slayer, keeping in mind that your Q now counts as a stack, then Ginsu's Rage Blade, and this is what takes center to a whole nother level. You see, your auto attacks as center, guys, deal an additional 20% of your bonus physical damage as on hit, meaning that on every third auto attack, you deal that damage twice with Rage Blade. This also decreases your Q's cooldown by an extra second, so with the attack speed buff from 11.2 and the buff to Ginsu's attack speed this patch, you are using your Piercing Darkness on the reg and all this on hit. Finish it off with a rapid fire cannon, and at this point in your games, you will have so much bonus range from your passive stacks and RFC that you are untouchable. So guys, build any of these combinations in the next week or so and you'll be climbing like never before. Remember to subscribe and turn on all notifications before leaving. This has been Coach Cheese, and until tomorrow's video.